The ones who make a brighter day. So it's funky. Hi everyone, welcome back to our platform.
Sorry, just the way I was doing something weird with my face, and she was like,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm just hyping myself up.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our platform. I'm your host Lighton, and this is us together. Yeah. Guys, I hope everybody's keeping safe. I'm excited today to be back with my friend Temwani.
Hi guys, it's me again.
How have you been?
I'm good, thanks. Good, thanks. I'm happy to be back here. I had so much fun the last time, and hopefully we'll have like another great video this time. Hopefully,
Yeah, it's gonna be a great conversation because
Right.
it's day-to-day things that we all go through. Throughout childhood, throughout our adult life. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. Okay, so today, guys, the topic is about toxic relationships, and in this case, we mean friendships. We mean like family members,
Yeah.
that's parents, siblings, name it all, and also like, of course, romantic relationships. We can't leave those out. So, guys, it's going to be a very juicy, very exciting, very informative conversation with my one and only stubborn, smart, intelligent Temwani.
I don't appreciate the stubborn. I think I'm just strong-willed. Stubborn's a bit too negative.
Okay, strong-willed. Let's get that.
Yeah, but yeah.
So, are you excited about the topic? And yeah,
I feel like I've got a lot of experience in this area. Not
Man, you're
as...
running me into that topic. Let's calm down.
I was just saying, am I excited? I was like, I
Let me-
might be an expert
let me
in
start
finding toxic people. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you are. You're FBI.
Thank you.
So Temwani, are you excited about the topic? Because it's things we go through every day. What do you
Yeah.
have to say?
It's a very important topic, especially for our generation, because I feel like, especially African communities, it's something that's not really talked about a lot. It's just, as women, especially, we're taught to just bear all and be like very forgiving and very
Natural.
accepting and accommodating of a lot of nonsense that we shouldn't be in all areas, as you said, relationships, friendships, and family relations. So yeah, it's an exciting topic.
Okay, let's get started. So where do you want us to start from? What do you want us to start to talk? Like, what do you want us to start with? Do you want us
Which
to
area?
Yeah, friends.
I think let's start close to home. Like
Okay.
family. Like I think that's the very first encounter. If you're lucky enough not to be in a family that's not toxic, that's great. But I think for most people, whether it's not, it can be your aunt, your uncle, your parents, even your siblings, it can be toxic, can be a very toxic environment, and it can shape the way you view life and the way you deal and operate with other people.
Yeah, that makes sense because I feel like as you're growing up, like your family members, especially your parents or your guardians for that matter, they shape who you are. Because at that point in time, they're like your small gods, so they're all you know. Like the way they treat you and the way they respect or disrespect you, whatever shapes the person you are.
With toxic family members, I feel like it was more extended family than the nuclear situation. And I'd see it not necessarily towards me, but I'd see like my mom dealing with in-laws, so to speak. There'll be some situations where you're like, that's not okay. Like I don't want to out my family because they might watch and they'll be like, But like
But that's so common about in-laws. I've seen it, I've had it a couple of times.
like if they'll do stuff and try to undermine, okay, like I'll speak like culturally speaking, because like Zambia is like a Christian nation. Those are like a man leaves his house and goes to a woman and they become one. Like so he's no longer supposed to be like attached to his family like that before. Like they've become a team, the two of them. But
So
a lot
that
of
means
times
they should listen to their wives more, or like they should make decisions as a small
as a
unit.
unit, you know what I mean? But a lot of times like family members can come in and try and undermine the wife because they feel like maybe this is our son and so she should not have a decision. She should not have a hand in maybe his money or how he spends expenses or how he looks after people. I feel like it's a form of toxicity that we see a lot. It's very like if you watch any Patience Azokwa Nigerian movie, she's always that's a toxic in-law basically. She's always just
And she
in the
nails it,
business
yeah.
and she does not allow them to be just a couple that grows and builds together. She becomes that dominating force over the family.
I don't know, that's very true. And then I don't know, do you guys have this thing in your culture? Because I see it in Uganda for some places, right? It's like the son, like when you get married, right? You can never be good enough for their son.
Yeah.
Is it the same?
I think that's everywhere around the world. Like
I think so.
everywhere around the world, there's mamas, boys, and women who just like there's no one ever who's gonna be good enough for my son. Therefore, I must make your life a living hell. And it's just unhealthy attachments. And also as a man, I think men should learn more about boundaries, even with their mom and their parents or their mother figures, because it's stuff that carries on later on in life. You know, like, your mom's not always going to be the number one priority. When you marry your wife, she should become your number one priority. Your family and your kids should become, like, not that you throw your mom away and be like, thanks mom, deuces. No, but like, boundaries, just establishing the boundaries. But in African culture especially, it's not really like, they'll be like, she's a witch if the husband's like, no, okay, you can't do this. The patient's bewitched my son. How can he tell me this is this? When you're like, no ma'am, you're being kind of unreasonable. Let this couple flourish and build what they have together.
That's true. And then, like, I feel another form of like toxic family member relationships, usually maybe like from one of the parents, right? Like, when you talk to kids who have been raised by like single parents, right? Sometimes it can be as toxic as, let's say, like me being raised by a single mom. To a degree, it was some form of toxicity from my dad, kind of thing. Like the fact that, I mean, as a person, I mean, you go to school and you expect mommy and daddy, right? The fact that your other friends are saying mommy and dad, and then you is not really there sometimes, it really hurts you as a child. And then, like, so many times, like, I grew up thinking, oh, maybe is it because I'm a girl? Was I less deserving because I'm a girl? Like, you get what I mean, right? And then it puts you in this position whereby you have to kind of prove yourself, you know? And I feel like I've talked to a couple of children who have been raised by single moms and single dads, right? You as a child, you feel like, was I not child enough? Was I not good enough for the other parent to take care of me and etc? And that shit damages you. Like, it does.
It messes with your self-esteem.
It does.
And you constantly probably feel yourself needing to prove yourself in different situations, because that bond that was needed there in the early childhood to make you feel validated, to know that you're enough, was missing. And I think the interesting thing is that in Africa we also have absent dads, meaning they can be there, like there's a family unit, but they're not really involved in the parenting.
They just do the financial
part.
part.
Yeah, they do the financial part, and then they're not really involved in parenting the children. So then you find a lot, like with guys who have absent dads, they're always constantly trying to prove themselves to the father, to get attention. Or like if you see like a rebellious teenager in high school, maybe they were always getting in trouble because they needed to get attention from their parents, and that was the only way they would give them any attention, was like, you're in trouble, oh, you've done this again, you've done this again.
You're going to tell your dad.
You're going to tell your dad, and it's like, oh, well, finally he'll think about me in some type of way. So like, I think
because I feel like the thing you said about African settings, like there are so many like African households whereby like when the dad comes back home, the dad is usually so tough. When he comes back home, everybody's like, man, I need to go to my bedroom.
Eggshells.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a because it's the patriarchy. We're always going to respect the man more, and he's always going to be on top, and so anything to do with child rearing is kind of thrown up. It's left to the woman to do, and then I don't think it's difficult to do it on your own, because then maybe she's also coming from that environment where her dad did the exact same thing to her. So then you notice like the way a female child is raised and the way a male child is raised is so different in black households. It's so different. Like, the guys, like some men don't have home training. Like they have absolutely no home training.
That's something that pisses me off. Like they're always training us how to be good wives, but who's talking to the boy child? Like literally, who is doing that? And then at the end of the day, we're going to marry these same boys. No one is talking about them. I usually use this example. I don't know if it happens to you guys, but like when you go to the village, like to those family functions, right? No one ever asks if a girl has eaten food. Everybody will be like, has the boy eaten?
Yep.
My producer inclusive. Has the boy eaten? That's what everybody will ask about. And I'm like, guys, I'm also here. Yeah. So like that also that also shapes you in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you start feeling, again, me who's like feminist and like I'm all for the girl child, it's like I have to prove myself. Like I'm a girl, but please see me.
I'm good. I'm more than just your cleaner and cooker and
exactly.
childbearer. I have emotions, feelings, and I have aspirations and dreams too. Like it's just something. It's become so normal. Like you see it in every aspect. Like okay, like back home when there's a funeral, if you go to the funeral house, you don't even have to know the people for them to just look at you as a female and be like, come, you're going to go and cook at the back.
Exactly.
I don't know this person. I'm literally just escorting someone. Like there'll be a huge thing of Nshima and they'll be there. I'm like, excuse me, hold on.
No, but the fact that you're a girl and you presented yourself.
You're just there.
You need to go
to the kitchen, cut the tomatoes. Like, I don't know you, but that's just the thing. No one will ever ask the dude like, hey, could you come and cook this Nshima? Can you come and do this? And this is never that way. It's always, as a woman, so much responsibility is put on us, yet we're not given that power for the amount of things we do. in
we're
a
not
society.
even, we're not even seen, we're not even like appreciated enough because we are made to think like you're supposed to do it.
Yeah,
you get
it's,
what I mean?
it's just there's the thing. You can see a woman who's like a working mom, and maybe both her and the husband work, but when she gets back from work, she's supposed to do the cooking, the
Of
cleaning,
course,
and all the thing is like
That's
where
I mean,
is
we
the
both
balance?
work, and even when the woman brings in more money nowadays, by the way, you still have
That's
to
when
clean.
he'll remove the vacuum cleaner, give her a broom, and she'll become too proud.
Exactly,
So clean the way your mother used to clean to humble you down. Like, yeah, no, it's unfortunate, but these are just forms of toxic relationships we see in the family unit.
Do you think there's some sort of like toxic relationships within a family unit, let's say between like siblings or like step siblings, etc? Those might be subconscious because like I mean you don't intend to hurt your siblings for the most part. But like I feel like kind of like as teenagers or even as growing up, right? I remember growing up I used to always say my mom loves my brother more.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like you always have these, and then like if you don't outgrow it or if you don't know the reason maybe why your mom is treating A, B better.
Yeah.
I mean like it's it might turn out to be toxic in the sense that you might be like hatred and etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
Because I feel like some parents show that they love some kids more.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
it's
doesn't help
normally
the other.
as a result of the parents or the guardian figures treats preferential treatment, or you know, some kids are just born crazy. But like there can be toxic relationship between siblings. It's very real. It's very possible. It's especially when there's favoritism shown towards one child, or
But me, I was okay. My mom liked my brother more. I was very troublesome. I accepted it.
you're just like, I know
I saw
like
my
me.
brother literally deserved it. I was like, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I think it happens a lot.
But I think it was easy because we're only 2 kids. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Had we been 3 or 4, that means we'd have like maybe ganged against him.
Yeah.
Because that's what I see sometimes.
Yeah, no, definitely. It really just depends on how your parents raise you and how they raise the other ones. I remember my brothers used to complain. They'll be like, how come dad never used to discipline, like my dad's never beaten me before. He's like, how come dad never used to discipline Temwa, and as he used to really just, you know, thing as it became like a whole debate. It used to be something constantly brought up, like it's not fair. Like she's only like disciplined by mom. Like I'm still getting my ass whoopings, guys. But like apparently his were worse type of thing. So like it can be even just those little things, like even just like a male and female, like okay, like in a 2-parent home, like normally they'll say like the dad prefers the daughter and the sons with the mom, and then you know maybe the sons can feel some type of way about like maybe the dad treats the daughter extra
Maybe they
special.
give you better. or
Yeah,
something like
yeah, but it's not really like anything deep. It's just like, oh, it's my daughter. You know, sons and mothers, daughters and
And
fathers.
dads, yeah.
And
Have you heard of this thing, Temanu, by like sometimes I think it was Anka Simi. She left her marriage. She's a comedian in Uganda.
Yeah,
I think
know her,
it kind of, you know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very good, right? She was in this marriage and they seemed very happy, right? But she said there came a point whereby she had to dim her shine for the husband to feel like the husband, if that makes sense. I feel like even toxic relationships, that can happen. Like maybe you're being so successful or you're very hardworking or what. Now you have to, dim your shine or something so that this other person will flourish. Can even be the other way around.
Yeah.
Can even be the chick doing it or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
it's
not
normally
for
men.
success or
Yeah. There's, as long as you're at a certain point, they're okay. But the minute you move beyond that point, there's a bit of a problem. So it's not. I don't think there's really love from the toxic person. It's just the ability to have a hold over you.
Exactly.
It's a power move. Toxicity. I think toxic people like the power they get from what they weave over a person. Oh, some are not aware. I think some, like especially in the family situation, when
I
it's
feel
just
like,
a
you know, like
generational
that
thing.
Temani said about like even like sometimes we come from these toxic families or like we've experienced these things in life, right? So we do them subconsciously. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's why you see like you can find a person who like the dad used to beat the mom, and then they subconsciously they're doing the same thing. And
Yeah,
like,
they'll do it. They'll be
some of them, you understand?
they'll be I know, like the guys will be crying. Oh, my mom used to get beaten, and then when they get upset or drunk, they start beating up their girls, and you're like,
they didn't deal with it
they didn't deal with it, and it's a behavior they've learned, and it's just
okay.
Yeah, they know it's not okay because the pain they felt with their mom.
That's the thing. The funny thing is sometimes when people are doing those things, it's not okay when they're doing it to their family members, their mom, their sisters.
Yeah.
But it's okay to do it to other people.
Yes.
Have you seen guys like that?
Yeah. Definitely. There's just I guess, lack of empathy. If you're not very empathetic to the other person, if you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes, is when you can do that. It's where you can beat your girlfriend, and then the minute you hear your girlfriend was slapped by a boyfriend, you will go and gather your boys to go beat up the guy as if you're not doing that to somebody else's daughter or somebody else's sister. So it's just a cycle. It's just a
I think
constant
that's why
cycle.
someone said like if men would treat their girlfriends or their wives the same way they would want their moms and sisters to be treated, the world would be good.
It would be
Vice
a great
versa.
place.
If the woman treats their husband the same way they would want their son or a husband or whatever to be treated with a dad, I mean, the world would be a very...
It would be a great place. I think in African situations, women tend to do that. Tend to treat their husbands like their sons. I think there was a time we even spoke about it, like in regards to cheating, like why married men cheat a lot of the times.
I never thought about that, but it actually makes sense.
Yeah, like if they start to see, because they marry women who are like their moms, and then it's just like,
you know, don't talk to your mom like, you know what I mean? Like, still.
Yeah, so then they start looking elsewhere because like that's the mother of my children, and she also treats me like a child. Like I see a lot of marriages where like the women really just treat their husbands like children, and you're like, okay, how does this work in that way? Maybe it's their fetish. I don't know. Okay.
By the way, guys, Temzi Bites. She made African dishes.
I have, so it's an African food blog, right? And I create videos showing people how to make like mostly African dishes. Like if you're from Zambia, right now that's all I've got. So like Zambian food you can learn if you're interested in it. It's really good. You can just check it out there. It's on YouTube, and I got a website and Facebook and Instagram. So it's Temzi Bites. So TEMZIE, and then bites like
Man, guys, I love the food. I like capeta. That's a real deal.
It's the plug. It's the plug. Yes.
So Tawandi, what do you think someone can notice them and kind of walk away, or as a friend from the side, what is it like? What do you think is the way forward? Like, what can we do?
I can say two things. As friends, I think say it once and be like, look, I think the situation is not going great in XYZ, and be like, I'm here as a friend, but then also distance yourself from it.
Okay.
I've been in a lot of situations where I've been friends with people, especially in like romantic toxic relationships, and let me tell you, you can advise her one day and be like, yeah, you should leave him, and she'll be like, yeah, I'll leave him, and then like 2 days later they're back together, and then next the status on WhatsApp is that snake who tried to come into our relationship. Then the person, now all of a sudden you're in love with that toxic person. So my personal thing is just to be like, hey, look, I think the situation is not that great, X, Y, and Z, because the truth is, especially with toxic romantic relationships, it takes everybody around them in. Like, it's never just between the two of them. All of us around somehow get involved, and it's just draining. So I think the best thing is to be like, hey, I love you, but I'm gonna love you from a distance, because I think this situation is toxic. It's draining my energy. It's messing up my environment. And I think it's best that when you're ready to leave, for real, I'll be here. But as for now, I'm not gonna stay.
Apparently, that depression starts from around 11, and it's very common between like 11 to 25, especially among women. I read a lot, and like the research shows that women are more depressed than men. And then like, and sometimes this depression could have been caused by the family members or the relatives and etc. So how does someone deal with such a situation?
In a toxic situation, I think
family,
recognizing that it's not your fault that this person is this way, and it's not your responsibility to fix them. 1, 2,
like it has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with you.
It's everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. It's not anything you did. Because I think a lot of times we can blame ourselves and be like, maybe if I wasn't like this,
maybe if I was a boy, maybe if I was a girl,
so that type of thing. And it's not your fault. 1, 2, I think it's also very important to know if you're still under their like, let's say it's a parent that's toxic and you're under their financial guardian, you're under their financial care, you can't just cut them off because you need them, right? So it's just, I think you have to develop a way of knowing how to deal with them in their moods or their swings or whenever they're doing their things, just understanding it. I think with African, I think this is across the board in Africa, just learning how to keep quiet. Sometimes arguing is better than being right. Peace is better than being right. Like learning how to just keep quiet. It may hurt you, it may be infuriate you, but sometimes the best thing to do is just to be like, okay, I'm sorry, you move on.
And then like you just hang on to the good they're giving you, and then you're like, my education or whatever they're giving me, one day is going to help me to be better. And
you can do it. You need that. So you need that thing. So you can't fight with you can't bite the hand that feeds you. So you have to. I think that it's very important. Just know how to read the situation, understand that you will not always be vindicated, you will not always get justice in that situation because there is a power imbalance. But there will be a day when the power imbalance will go, when you're financially independent, and when you are, you can either decide to set boundaries, like maybe, hey, I'm gonna see you guys once a year and that's it, and even when we see each other guys once a year, those comments and those things, I'm not accepting them. Or some people, because it's so toxic, they cut those people completely off. I say cutting off completely can leave you with regrets if the person dies or something like that. So I think it's just to be cordial and have like just your boundaries. Like,
Mutual
listen,
respect.
mutual respect, and be like, listen, if you want, you can have like a DMC. You can talk and be like, hey, we're growing up. I did not like X, Y, and Z, and what, and maybe they'll be open to have that discussion, and maybe you can improve.
Because sometimes, by the way, they don't know. Again, they're also sometimes carrying on like insecurities or whatever from the past and etc. Yeah. And I think another thing, Temwani, about that, I mean, what you do in a situation, especially with teenagers, right? If you're in a situation whereby it's toxic, you're constantly doubted, etc., right? The best thing you can do is to be the best version of yourself. If it's school, go and read so hard. If it's work, like whatever you're doing, read, like do it with your maximum best, like do it 100%. And then like the fruits that come from it will make you happy. And then like they'll maybe make that person see you different. I know that's not what you're looking at, but at the end of the day, that person will know that there's more to this person than what I ever expected.
And you're actually you're benefiting your life.
You're benefiting your life, right?
You're building into something for your future. Well, today is the groundworks for what you may have in 10 years' time. So if you as a teenager, you're struggling and things at home are not great, then maybe focus on school, focus on what you want to do, and build from that so that you're no longer as dependent on that, and you're not. Because it can be emotionally draining. Sometimes you need an outlet in another place. Maybe
when you have like your passion or like
it can take away the stress of what you're going through. But then it's also very important to heal and be like, hey,
first of all, you need to accept it, identify it, accept it, and heal.
And then heal so that you don't pass on that trauma to other people. Yeah, definitely.
I think another thing that you can do finally is what I always do in some situations. I forgive myself what I did, because again, there's two people involved, or like two parties, right? Forgive myself what I did. I forgive them for what I did. I'm growing and I'm learning how to accept an apology I never received.
Yeah.
Forgive you for what you did, and I love you from afar.
Yeah.
You get, because I know sometimes we need to keep our family members close. We really, really need them.
Yeah.
But like if the bad outweighs the good, I'm done with it. Because at the end of the day, you're your first responsibility. Before you become a mom or a parent, you're your first responsibility. Yeah. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like, share, comment, and don't forget to click that notification button, because I don't want you guys to miss any juicy conversations. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, tell us what you think. Let's have this conversation. Keep that conversations going. And today we are dressed by Readapt. And why I really like this brand is because I know by the time you guys watch this, maybe it would have passed. There's something going on in Nigeria, and he told us he's sending 80% of whatever he makes back to Nigeria. So we're like, we need to support our brother, because those are our brothers. And we're also fed by Afrofusion. Check them out. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.